Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Star Ladder I-League Star Series American Qualifiers. That is right, we're on yet another day here. I want to say day number 4, if I'm not mistaken, on the American Qualifiers. The group stages, of course, well, that's the only part of this tournament. It is only a group stage, but the point is we're continuing on and looking forward to having some more fun here today. I'm going to be your host today. That is Breaky CPK, and I'm joined by my co-caster today, the one, the only, Tralf. Going to be joining me. Tralf, how's it going, man? I'm doing terrific. You know, I casted a couple of days ago this event, had a break yesterday, but I'm really excited to be back and casting some more American Dota. American Dota's been getting better, man.
But they're different, at least relative towards, like, say, the last year. So,
yeah.
I mean, there was like a good year and a half, maybe even longer, with Lone Druid just never was picked up. So, at least refreshing in that sense to see him kind of finally, find the limelight, so to speak.
Lone Druid's ridiculous, man. I mean, as far as the patch goes, there's been some findings of heroes that are like, okay, this is powerful. We got a band like Meepo comes to mind. Obviously, Underlord's been popular. Quap level 25, things like that. But I think Lone Druid stands above them all. Is that safe to say?
Well, I think what happened, if you look at the talents, I mean, he has arguably the best talent set in the entire game. They were just absolutely ridiculous. So they took a hero that already got a buff previously with the, what's it called, the Savage Roar. That made the hero in its own right completely different, because if you remember, what happened was they essentially gave your bear like extra damage on its own. It used to be its own separate skill, which was the synergy spell, and you had to level that up to make your bear stronger and have more HP. Well, they're like, oh, let's just combine that to his bear. So that's already one buff. Then you have Savage Roar, which not only works on his hero, but independently on the bear, which is a great spell introduced newly. Yeah. And he still wasn't picked up. They're like, all right, we got to do something to finally get this guy picked up every time. And then they gave the talent trees to everybody, and his are just very, very strong. Like I said, arguably the strongest talent set in the entire game.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why you're seeing him picked up so much.
Why not banned? I mean, if you're infamous here, like, obviously, well, they had first pick, I guess. I mean, they picked Shadow Demon. Right. They didn't ban Lone Druid, though. I mean, is there concern there, you think? Or is it doable? Like, can you beat Lone Druid?
Well, right now it's I mean, in the game of Dota, you have tons of trades within the game. Right now, in the banning phase, in the picking phase, you're taking a trade. So I'm trading off Shadow Demon and Luna for your Lone Druid. Now you could say, well, they could have taken Luna, DileCom, I mean. But picking up Lone Druid and Luna is kind of, it's kind of weird. They both are kind of one-position heroes. I mean, you can run Lone Druid as a mid, too. Totally fine. But they kind of have that same role as pushing and battling. The reason why these two heroes are both so good is they're quite similar. They're both great in the lane. They can both push like high ground very, very easily, and they're both like battlers with good spells and just good abilities. They kind of fit that same role. So it's basically a ban and draft of trades. They're trading off Shadow Demon Luna for a Lone Druid, and they just feel more comfortable with Shadow Demon Luna, I guess.
Yeah. Shadow Demon Luna, obviously in its own right, that's been for a while now, even post-patch. There was the nerf to Illusions. That's like, are we still going to be seeing this combination as powerful? I think the answer is yes. I mean, we've still seen plenty of Shadow Demon Luna. And hell, Shadow Demon against Luna is obviously even very powerful in its own right. You create illusions of her, and they can defeat her. It's ridiculous. So they get their strong comp.
Personally, I think within the combo, I think Shadow Demon is the reason why the Shadow Demon Luna issue is so strong.
Yeah.
I think it's more of the being able to produce illusions, not just even Luna illusions, but say if the other team has a Radiance here like an Alchemist, you can make your own Radiance. If there's a Spectre, you can make your own Spectre that has the Spectre's passives and Radiance and whatnot. Just a great skill set from Shadow Demon, the ability to save people with your disruption as well as use it offensively. So I think in that combo, the Shadow Demon is the reason why it's so strong.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got the third pick going to be coming out. Obviously, plenty of bans to happen. We even have some Viper ban being thrown in there by Team DileCom. They're going to go Sand King as their third pick. A solid offlane choice, just one of the more popular ones. Really no concerns or questions there, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, and Sand King has tons of flexibility too. I mean, we typically, like you said, see him off lane. Could be a force support as
10
well.
seconds
Very,
remaining.
very flexible, very, very strong. Nothing wrong with that. Just a great overall pick.
Yeah. By the way,
5
guys, I
seconds
think
remaining.
I've been a little overwhelmed. You know, I go through my stream setup and everything. I'm hoping that, cross my fingers, everything works
Reserve
well today.
time.
You know, Winsdale is having some issues there, so I have to resort to some simplistic stuff. But hopefully stuff's good today. With that said, we got Team DileCom taking on Infamous here to kick it off. This is our first of 3 best of 2s coming at you, of course, for the American region qualifiers. So plenty of good Dota to be had here, of course, when it comes to it. So third pick for Infamous. What are we looking at here? I mean, Shadow Demon Luna, obviously they got the strong start there now. Middle feels like you usually want to save to the last pick, so probably not going to be seeing that, I would guess. But
Yeah. Well, what are the things that they've picked a lot? They seem to love their Alchemist. Now, they already have a Shadow Demon Luna, but I wouldn't put it past them to also pick up the Alch just because they love it and they run it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It also works well with the Shadow Demon. So there's that. Invoker seems to be, picking up a little bit of traction lately. I remember when the patch hit, everyone thought he was garbage because you're going to have the one forward spirit until you actually get the talent. If you want to get that talent, which I've seen people like Miracle opt out of that, but it still seems to have a great skill set and still seems to be strong like it was before. So haven't really seen that fade out.
Yeah. Wow. That's not
Radiant
your typical
team pick.
pick. I mean, seen occasionally, not the most rarest, but Beastmaster, I assume that's more of an offlane. I mean, I guess he has potential to be jungle here, but what do you think?
Yeah, probably off lane. Rubik's a really weak support in lane, low
10
armor.
seconds remaining.
I mean, Fade Bolt's amazing. It also works well on you. The
5
great thing about
seconds
Fade Bolt
remaining.
is really the damage reduction that it provides. So when you use that Fade Bolt right away, you can't really trade with the
Reserve
Rubik
time.
effectively. You just do way less damage, and that applies to his boar obviously as well. But once that once the debuff fades, I mean, Beastmaster, I think his base attack damage is like 67 or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Rubik has like no armor.
Dire
So
team pick.
okay, now they have maybe a little bit of remedy for that weak safe lane problem, and so the Keeper of the Light. So I think if you are going to go off lane with Beastmaster, you probably want to buy an Iron Talon and start off in the jungle. That's just a hard lane to deal with.
Yeah.
Then again, it could also be a dual lane with Sand King
10
and Keeper
seconds
off,
remaining.
which is also strong. So I think Infamous needs to make a
5
decision whether they
seconds
really want to
remaining.
focus on winning that safe lane or actually battle what could potentially be a very weak safe lane in
Radiant
DileCom, which is
team
Rubik
ban.
+1. So
Mhm.
they have to try to gauge what's going on, and they have to make a decision on that.
Shadow Fiend going to be the 4th pick. So speaking of that mid option, they actually go with their 4th pick, or do it with their 4th pick instead. So we'll see how that works for them.
10
But kind of brings
seconds remaining.
a little bit more semi-cure to the team. The aura is going to be effective for assisting with Luna,
5 seconds
amping her
remaining.
damage. You like the Shadow Fiend pick?
Yeah, and I think Shadow
Reserve
Fiend
time.
is also a hero that really benefits from the talents. Has a great talent tree. Nothing about it is like when you get to like a level 10 or 15, you're just like, well, this is kind of meh. They're all great. The attack speed feels really, really nice in the beginning, coupled with your extra damage and your negative armor. Just really works well with the hero in
Dire
general.
team
So
ban.
I really feel like it's almost at that point where were like DAC the first time when Shadow Fiend was picked up every game. And although the build was a bit different back then, we saw people go mech a lot. That's when Samael bursted onto the scene with his Yules, and
10
everyone's like, "Oh my
seconds
god,
remaining.
Yules, mind blown!" And then he just was destroying everybody. Obviously, it was a different way to
5
play Shadow
seconds
Fiend, but
remaining.
the point was that there was just never a bad game for Shadow Fiend. I'm starting to see that just a little bit more now. Not full blown like I can first pick Shadow Fiend every
Dire
game,
team
but I'm
pick.
starting to see that a little bit more.
Yeah, but it seems like now I rarely see that build, though. It is more of the Yasha, the Manta style, more of this Dragon Lance, the Hurricane Pike, things like that. More of the right click, battle build, not necessarily all around the ultimate.
Although, I mean,
10
there's 2
seconds
talents that would
remaining.
support that build, though. There is the, I think, Spell Amp one, and there's also
5
the,
seconds remaining.
there's another one. I can't remember if I can hover over him. But you could also go that, because if you do that
Reserve
build, you're
time.
definitely going to want to get an Axe, because that means you have more souls. And then with the Axe, you have more souls, which means you actually do more right-click damage, according to one of your talents. So that kind of synergizes well in itself. So there is a reason that if someone did go that, it could still very well work.
Mm-hmm. All right, final bans to happen. TA taken away by Infamous, and then you have Dazzle taken away by DileCom. So now Infamous thinking about their final pick. What do they need? I guess a 4 support here.
10 seconds
Probably the
remaining.
direction.
Yeah, for Infamous, sorry, I was looking at DileCom.
Seconds
Let's see.
remaining.
Is Disruptor banned? That's
Admiral
always weird.
Kunkka.
Ooh, Kunkka.
Hmm.
The old Kunkka Shadow Demon
Radiant
combo.
team pick.
They could have done also Potom, but Kunkka's great. I haven't seen him picked up as much lately. I don't even know what his talents are, to be honest with you.
I think his I know it's level 25. It's the torrent. It actually
never get there,
increases
but-
the range
10
by like
seconds
200 or the
remaining.
radius by 2. It makes it ridiculously
Oh,
huge.
right.
But yeah, no, he'll never get there. But that's the
5
only one that I can
seconds
recall from
remaining.
him actually. But
Now for DileCom, Co-op would be great, except for the fact that now you have a
Reserve
Shadow Demon
time.
Shadow Demon Kunkka combo, which would be very, very scary.
mhm.
Oh, they're gonna go for Tinker.
Okay.
So Tinker against the Shadow Fiend. It's actually not that bad for Shadow Fiend because whereas other matchups, when you can just spam the laser, you can still get auto attack, or you can still get last hits with your raises. So it's actually not that bad of a matchup for Shadow Fiend. I still think it's Tinker favorite, of course, but I mean the mid matchup these days is not so much. It's almost never a 1v1. There's always gonna be some kind of roaming. There's always gonna be some kind of help. You have, I mean, the shrines made everything different, right? You can just get depleted in all your health and mana, but just go shrine up and then you're back to full. And that helps heroes like Shadow Fiend specifically.
This should be fun. Here we go. Game number 1 of this 2-game series. Again, you take a look real quickly at the standings. I'll pull those up here while we're waiting to load in right here. You got, of course, DC at the top there at the 2 wins, the 1 tie, the 0 losses.
10 seconds
NP, the same
remaining.
record, also up there. Then you have Infamous and DileCom,
5
kind of at the
seconds
bottom.
remaining.
DileCom specifically, an 0-3 record. So yet to get a victory here. You know, this is a team, though, at the same time that they almost dropped out. They almost dropped out of this tournament yesterday even. But it turned out, I'm talking with the admins, they ended up keeping 3 of their players. And we have a remake? What is going on here?
Apparently. I don't know. They said remake and then they left.
I like how the BenQ of the admin's like, wait, what? It's like, you gotta kind of go through me first. I guess, okay, the players have decided, apparently, that we're remaking. That's interesting. Anyways, going off to that point, though, yeah, in the end, they kept 3 players. They replaced them with 2 others. I'm trying to double-check on the actual names of those players. Let's see. The new players are Ifrit, I want to say, and Sword are the new players. Ifrit? Okay. So those are the 2 new players, apparently.
Well, I see I see Dota Master was there, who's an NA Dota Classic.
Oh, yeah?
Formerly EG stand-in Dota Master, yep. Anyway, so I guess should I leave this game?
I guess. I mean, the admin's the one that paused it, and there's only 1 player here. I mean, I guess.
There's no way those other players are coming back,
Yeah.
so.
All right, I guess we're leaving. I guess we're resetting here, guys. So, okay, we're gonna remake here and get things going again. Disconnect. Leave the game. Classic DileCom. Remaking games on us. Yeah, they did this the last time too. They seem like a team that, you know, struggles to kind of just get a fluid series in there. Always having some roster issues here and there, unfortunately. But yeah, I know that they're, of course, most famous. It's kind of unfortunate, but they're most famously known for having a couple of players that are banned from Valve events. You got Van and Z-Talk, so. It's like they have potential to be a good team. They did decent at the WESG. They finished top 8 there, if I'm not mistaken. So, but you know, they can't compete in all the events, and this is one of the events that they're able to, of course, and having issues, unfortunately. So,
Poor Z-Talk. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I see. I wasn't really here for when that all happened, so I really.
I don't even know. I don't even know the details. So.
Okay.
But I like Z-Talk. He's a cool guy.
They seem like good players. They really do. They looked really good.
Z-Talk is probably the best support player in all of Peru.
Yeah.
He's very, very good.
Well, R.I.P. All right, so I'm waiting for this remake. I mean, there's no lobby that I can see at least just yet. So I already left the game. So I'm hoping that I got the Skype channel open. I'll see if there's any updates. Game rehosted up. Okay, so apparently it is rehosted now. Yeah, there we go. Should be the same info and everything. Okay, so getting back into this one, guys. Once again, guys, welcome to the cast here. I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Tralf here, and we got some good American Dota coming at us here today. We got Infamous versus DileCom to kick it off. Battle of the South American teams. Always fun to have that coming out. You know, one of the more recent, or not, I guess recent, but Valve made a pretty big announcement going into the next major that South America was going to have its own sub-region as far as a qualifier. It's kind of brought up some interesting discussion amongst people. The American region already kind of considered to be a little bit weaker than maybe others, and now you throw in like kind of splitting it to an extent. Do you agree that South America deserves their own qualifier?
Oh boy, I don't know if they deserve it, but seeing how the player base is probably so big there that it would warrant it. I mean, if Southeast Asia deserves it, I guess South America does.
Yeah.
As far as the NA servers or the NA region being easier, I don't know if that's necessarily true anymore. Whenever there's a shuffle, I would definitely agree with that NA is the weakest because we probably shuffle more than any region, and I think shuffling is just always in the beginning is going to have a negative impact on the scene and the region. But I think teams are getting a lot better in NA. And I will say though, for the open qualifiers, which are a lot of fun and a big focal point for the region when those come around, are going to be way easier for the NA region now that all of Peruvians are going to be playing on their own.
Yeah.
Because the best teams in the NA open qualifiers are usually the high-skilled Peruvians that don't have teams, and they make teams last minute in the open qualifiers, and those are usually the teams that do the best in the open qualifiers. Well, now that all those teams are going down to the South America region, I predict that the NA open qualifiers are actually going to be a lot easier. So that should be pretty interesting.
I agree with you there on that point of it, and I do also definitely agree that the American region, again, I haven't personally been around the longest time, but I've watched it, I've heard about it over time, and I think people have kind of been agreeing lately that, yeah, the American region has been most certainly getting more powerful. Obviously you got the top teams, you got Evil Geniuses in DC. Now, there's of course the argument that, are they really American teams? Well, yes, they are, because they play in the American region, so damn it, they're American. Then you kind of got these next tier. You got obviously Complexity, NP. Then you got Team Freedom and Doo-Wop are these upcoming teams. You got of course the Pug teams, Wanted and Team Onyx. I call them the Pug teams. That may be a little harsh, and not necessarily Pug team, but team that was recently formed of players that aren't playing lately. So yeah, I feel like the American region is definitely. I'm coming into the casting scene, I guess, at a good time when it comes to the America Dota. It feels like so. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's definitely got some good solid teams right now, and I mean, I know a lot of the players and the majority of the players in DC are not American, but I mean they're playing in the region, so I think we just have to call them American.
Yeah.
For now until something changes, and so yeah, I think the region's actually pretty strong right now.
All right. Apparently, wait, are we remaking again? Oh.
I see no players.
Yeah, well, the updating Dota 2 says the admin, so I guess there might have been just a very recent update that people don't have yet or something. So I do have an update queued, actually. Maybe I'm gonna restart myself, actually, just to make sure.
Okay, maybe I'll do that too.
Yeah, I want to screw things up. I feel like there's patches like every day in this game. There's hot fixes going on. Remember when 7.0 first came out, they were just doing all those interface changes literally like 2 or 3 times a day. That's pretty ridiculous. Like things were moving as I play from game to game. I'm gonna get used to the UI.
I'm just so happy they got stupid Monkey King greeting thing. Like every time you open up Dota, he'd be like, what did he say? I need no introduction, even though he introduces himself every single time.
Yeah, he's a vain son of a bitch. Classic Monkey King. Who's better, Han or Dota's version? The tough questions.
Oh boy. I think Han's was just dumber because it was literally roll your face on the keyboard and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And it usually worked out.
I mean, Dota's isn't it? Is that what you're saying, Trelf?
To be fair, I've actually never played Monkey King in Dota, and I probably never will.
Yeah.
But Hans just seemed way dumber.
It was so annoying playing against a Monkey King even, and Han especially. Yeah. I see if that's my perspective. I didn't play much in Han, and I actually haven't played Dota 2 myself either as far as Monkey King goes. But playing against it, yeah, I think the Han's version, just the jumping around, unable to click the hero in general, was just always so frustrating.
Right, because he moved so quickly. But there's so many funny there's so many easy counters to Monkey King and Dota. Like I've been spamming Enigma like every game, and I'm on a pretty big win streak right now with Enigma. It's so funny to see Monkey Kings try to sit in the trees because you just use your Midnight Pulse and they fall down and they get stunned.
Yeah.
They just don't expect it. It's the funniest
That's a
shit
good
ever.
counter. Yeah, I didn't think I've done Darkseer a couple times with a vacuum. Similar idea.
Sure.
The trees, pull him down. Yeah. Destroy the trees that he's on. Obviously, yeah, he takes what, like a 4-second stun or something like that. So
I don't know what it is, but it's enough for him to just sit there and die.
Yeah.
So
it feels like he's kind of toned down. Like, obviously, when a new hero comes out, I mean, it's a mix of, sure, maybe he was a little powerful, but people just don't know how to play against. It's a pretty unique concept, a hero that's like off the map, flying around trees constantly. So it's taken a while for people to get used to it. But I do feel in my MMR journey of in the lowly 3,000 brackets.
hey,
what's up?
question. So on this thing, where you see the camera by my name?
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm the cameraman? Or
it's by my name actually on my screen.
Oh, it must just be if I click it, I become.
Maybe.
Okay, what?
I hope so.
I'm not gonna click it.
Don't click it. I mean, unless you want a camera. I mean.
No, please.
All right, I'll take care of it. I got these stats that I'm showing. See, this is that new setup that I'm talking about. So with the Star Ladder, they also have me with all the casters. I assume we got the setup that's why I'm required to use XSplit, which I don't normally use. But it's a pretty cool interface where I click these buttons that say like the rosters and the team stats and everything, and I can look at all the stats and all the information. So it's fun to see. There hasn't been a whole lot of matches, obviously, but still always fun to look at.
That's pretty cool.
I'm going through that for you guys that are tuning in. By the way, guys, if you are just tuning in, we are waiting for this remake. I don't know why it's taking so long. The players kind of just made their own decision to remake the game, apparently, and so we're in the new lobby, but we're still waiting on a couple of players. And I'm actually getting informed that the admin is having some internet problems now. So,
oh geez,
the rough start continues. Well, we could just keep talking about other stuff, I guess. How's life been, Tralf?
Good. And starting to try to eat clean,
Oh, yeah?
Which is always hard.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know
trying to make a conscious decision and all that whole New Year's resolution stuff.
See how long that sticks. Yeah, get the gym membership. Stop going a month later, yeah.
I had a gym membership. I moved to close to Seattle about, last March. And I had a gym membership that I got in like April, and I didn't go until I was just paying for it for like 4 months until I finally went.
Nice.
I was like, you know what? I probably should go since I'm just wasting my money.
Yeah, it's a good call. Good call. Yeah, I got the nice. We got a dog recently. Well, not recently. We've almost had it for a year now. But taking the afternoon walks with the dog is a nice way to get out of the house at least a little bit. Kind of forces you to. So.
What kind of dog?
It's a pit terrier mix, so it's like a half pit bull, half terrier. We don't really know exactly. We got it from rescue, so
okay.
Not 100% sure. But yeah, very very fun, very hyper dog. So
oh yeah,
always fun when we have people over. Play with new dogs. She loves to play with other dogs. Every dog she meets, but sometimes the other dog doesn't want to play, so she has trouble understanding that. It can be difficult at times.
I've never owned a dog, but I've always wanted to own a dog.
Yeah, it's fun. You should.
I've always been have I've had cats, and I have a cat right now, but I want to get a. I've always wanted to get a corgi. I know it's like not the manly dog to get, but I've always wanted to get a corgi.
Well, the good corgis would be good. Corgis are cute, man. I mean, yeah, not a manly
they're
dog,
really
but
cute.
they're cute, and they're lap dogs, obviously, which is a benefit. So, I could see me owning a corgi as well. So,
I also have a good friend that owns an English bulldog, they're awesome. The only problem is they don't live very long. They have like breathing problems.
Yeah.
They're also like $2,000.
Yeah, a little up there.
I would feel it would be hard to be attached to something and then have it only live 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, that's the part of life, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but the growing up part and the raising up part is a lot of fun in my opinion. So, all right, we're still waiting on a couple of players here. As a quick update, guys. Yes, this is Breaky CPK. See somebody asking that in chat. Joined by Tralf here as my co-caster. We got some South America Dota coming at you here, hopefully. in the very near future. Infamous versus DileCom. So this is our first match of 3 matches. As pull up that screen real quickly. Of course, this one's going to be followed by. I'm excited for the next one. Complexity versus DC. That should be a lot of fun. And then DileCom versus Freedom to end it off here. Another solid match there. But yeah, that middle match is definitely. Well, it's very important, obviously, for complexity more so than anything, because if you don't beat DC, then with there only being 1 spot up for grabs, which we were kind of talking about that with the format of this event before we started the stream, it's a pretty brutal format for you slip up once or twice, and it's basically over, right? Like, it's
yeah,
it could be pretty tough with the only one because the European region actually has 2 teams that are qualifying out of it. So
really,
yeah, the European had
and
2.
the NA.
NA only has 1, well, it's not, and it's America technically, but and then you have China actually had 4 teams qualify. So, but it is a Chinese event apparently, where they hosted in China at least. So, they like their Chinese teams.
Okay, yeah, So the EU teams are Liquid, Cloud9, which is like a new team, Ad Finum Alliance, which is also kind of a new team, Vega. Yeah. They've had bouncing around. Horde, I don't even know who's in Horde. Navi's a new team, and then Secret. So there's only like 3 kind of old teams. Yeah. That's very interesting that they would give them two top.
So Vega and Horde, to be fair, they did have to play in a pre-qualifier to get there. Well, actually, Vega, Horde, and or no, it was Cloud9 as well. Actually. Yeah, Cloud9, Vega, and Horde, they all actually had to play in some sort of pre-qualifier to get there. So it was only technically 5 of those teams that were actually invited. But still, I mean, yeah, that's always kind of the debate, right? It's like, did these teams actually deserve it over the others? And Virtus Pro was in the event, but they actually withdrew at the start of it. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's also crazy. I mean, the teams in NA, when you look at them, are just not that bad. Especially when you consider that DC wasn't invited and DC won. Second at TI, like, and they've only swapped 1 player, and they just won. What was it? ESL.
ESL won Genting. Yeah.
Yeah, they just won that. So that seems very strange to me, but.
That, I talked about that on my podcast that I do now. That was definitely because EG got invited over them. Now this was which doesn't make sense to me
either,
and I made that point when it happened. Now, to be fair, EG did just win obviously the Dota Pit tournament, and DC did pretty bad at that event. So, but that was after the invites took place. So if you did it before
that shouldn't have mattered.
Yeah,
now was Genting before it?
Oh no, yeah. ESL 1 Genting happened, and then the invites came out like a week and a half later.
Okay, so now they definitely should have gotten invited over EG.
Yeah,
no question.
I agree. Ain't my decision though.
Then again, maybe they're looking at major results, and DC didn't they do pretty poorly at the last major in Boston?
Boston, yeah, they got. Wait, no, they made it to the semifinals, right? They lost to
DC. I thought they lost right away.
Hold on, who am I thinking of? I thought they made it to the semifinals and lost to OG, if I'm not mistaken. Here, let me look it up now. See, now
they lost to Ad Finum.
They lost to Ad Finum in the semifinals. So they lost on the other side of it then, yeah. Yeah, they lost to Ad Finum in the semifinals, yeah. So, okay, yeah, 3rd, 4th place finish. They was the same as EG.
Which is the same, exactly, the same as EG.
Oh, apparently we're in another lobby yet again. Jeez.
Oh, boy. This is crazy.
Alright. I guess it's this one here. So yeah, again, guys, we're still waiting for this game to start. We got the draft done and everything, but unfortunately, there was a remake, and now there's been some updates that have been happening apparently and whatnot. So I think we should be just about good to go. So let me see.
You need a broadcast channel?
Yeah, there we go. I got one.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, they finished the same place at yeah, there's actually just there's not even an explanation, or there's not even
no, there is
an argument about this.
There
is.
They should have gone. There is, and it's that EG is a lot more popular in China.
Well, there you go.
That's the only reason. I mean, to be fair, that is from the business perspective, from the tournament's perspective, they wanted to make sure to get Evil Geniuses there, and I understand it from that perspective, even though as crappy as that sounds, but. Oh wait, so okay, hold on. I need to clarify myself real quickly. I've been thinking of the DAC this whole time. So this is actually for the Star Ladder tournament.
It's also in China though.
It is also in China, but only Wings Gaming. So that's right. Yeah, only Wings Gaming has actually been the announced invite team for this tournament. However,
oh, gotcha.
The other one, but EG not playing. You'd figure EG is going to be the other one that's invited. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but
although EG is infamous for turning a lot of invites down.
Yeah,
because I mean they get invited to so much stuff that I think they just get burnt out. Honestly,
no, that's
and I don't blame them. I don't like traveling, and they travel, and I don't ever travel, but they probably travel all the time.
Yeah, imagine doing that with a TV crew following you as well.
Oh yeah, that would. Yeah, that could be very draining.
I could imagine. So yeah, I do not envy that position for the most part, for sure. Okay, I think we've.
Oh my God, we're starting.
Finally,
hopefully
maybe
it's
starting.
Not... Is it AP? I hope.
Yeah.
Nice, it is.
Okay.
Keeper of the light.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we may have actually made it to the match here. Okay, so yeah, I gotta repick the heroes, obviously. Like I said, we already had the draft, so we're kind of getting a refreshment here of who's playing what. Sorry if there's a little bit of what seems to be a choppiness here. It seems like when it gets into the game, it's fine, but for some reason at the pick screen, there's a little bit of choppiness for whatever reason. Anyway, so yeah, it's Luna, Beastmaster, Shadow Demon. They have Kunkka, and then mid Shadow Fiend. That was their final hero. Other side, Lone Druid, Rubik, Tinker, Keeper of the Light, and Sand King. There we go. Come on, pick that Shadow Fiend.
You had to say Keeper of the Light because you wanted to say Keeper of the Forest. I know it. Don't deny it.
Maybe. That might have just happened. Hey, I've been doing really good at making sure not to say these, although I have slipped up a couple times. I try to make it, not a obvious point when I do, but I'm sure people have caught that. I may have called cheese bananas recently. That may have happened. But I'm doing my best.
And the bananas.
All right, here we go. Game 1. Oh, I love this screen too. We get the sweet intro.
Street Fighter.
Round 1. Fight. This is awesome. Okay. All right, guys, here we go. So once again, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the broadcast. I'm Breaking CBK, joined by Tralfier, and you're tuning in to what is the Star Ladder I-League Star Series Tournament. And for some reason, it's still choppy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Here, guys, let me try to refresh real quickly. I apologize. I want to fix this before we get into it, but I don't know why this is.
Well, we got
dang it.
2 really early awards here coming out from DileCom. Who is Jabberwock to do some investigating and
To battle.
Okay, I think I may have fixed it.
Okay, good.
Okay, yeah, I had the.
Oh, just in time because we got a smoke gank here on to the Keeper of the Light.
Connell,
barely
gets
caught.
buddy.
He actually misses the torrent.
Yes, the torrent.
How do you miss that? And Keeper of the Light walks away because he's got superior movement speed with that wind lace 355. How do you miss that, Breaking?
Yeah, you tell me. I have no clue. Yeah, I feel like you gotta hit that. I mean, that's the whole reason you pick up that combination, right, of the Shadow Demon Kunkka is to set up the easy torrent, but unfortunately not landing right there. So no first blood to be had. Now we still have another chance, but again, now that time a little more understandable, as that was a good sidestep there by Sand King. But 2001 missing another torrent to start things off. So, not the prettiest of starts, but it is what it is. And now we're into the landing phase. All right, what do we see? As far as anything that we did not expect, maybe, or does it look pretty standard, do you think?
Well, I think things are going to shift around a little bit. I mean, yeah, Rubik's walking mid to help out. This solo matchup is going to be great for Lone Druid in the bottom lane. Top lane, where's the last support? Oh.
Oh, no!
Where... Oh, he does get the last hit from the neutral.
Oh, well, that was big because I think it might have been Connell or Rubik, one of them, they actually missed the uphill auto attack to kill him, and they thought that it was actually going to kill him, so they started running the other direction, and it allowed him to aggro the creep and then deny himself as a result. So that was a huge...
Oh, no.
Both teams missing first blood chances here. It feels like with ease. That's unfortunate for the Radiant side.
Well, you know what I was going to say is after that missed torrent, that something like that not only is bad because you missed the kill, but it can really kind of like just make you pretty tilted. And I know from watching recently, oh, but it's a big stun actually with the creeps onto Kunkka doing a lot of damage. He should be fine though as he has a wind lace and a fairy fire. But I know that Infamous is a team that quite frankly tilts pretty easily. And something like that could actually tilt the rest of the team. A little bit of action here on the Luna.
Super Venge is going to try not to tilt too much right here. He's going to be fine as Sand King, of course, put under with the disruption. And that'll force him away. But we do see the Coddle Sand King lane, as you were kind of hinting at, perhaps, of the idea at. So, oh, middle lane. Tinker gets the kill. Onto the Shadow Fiend. I caught that right as the laser came out to finish him off. I don't know how that started necessarily, but should that happen, or... Is that maybe misplay from Shadow Fiend?
Well, I do, like I said, I do think that this is a Tinker favorite matchup. Shadow Fiend is okay in the sense that you can still. Ooh, he canceled his regen. Or no, sorry, that was Punk's regen. But I don't know. The last couple of matchups I've seen where they have drafted Kotaro SFnet, he has just not been performing. He's been dying a lot, at least in the laning stage. Now, out of the laning stage, his farm seems to be pretty good. He farms very, very quickly, but in the laning stage, he's been dying a lot, and Ben takes advantage of that.
Oh, middle lane, they're roaming in, though. Another smoke egg right here. This one going to be around that Observer Ward, so well played, but it seems like Tinker knows something's up. Yeah, he's playing it very, very cautious. I don't know if he saw them before or just simply has the insight that something's going on. Van is going to use the Shrine and healing up, so we'll see if he comes back and maybe plays a little bit more aggressive. But Shadow Demon and Kunkka have to be fairly patient right here. They want this kill to happen.
They're seen now.
Okay.
They're seen now. Their smoke wore off. They knew because Sand King was contesting with the poles up top, and he didn't see any support. So it's a very, very obvious gank.
Yeah.
Good communication.
Torrent. Oh, just missing. If that hits, maybe something. But yeah, again, Tinker's placement is just a little too powerful, so he's going to be fine. Bottom lane, Lone Druid, he's doing his thing against Beastmaster down here. So the both these heroes happen to be in control of some sort of beast, or ideally, but right now Lone Druid's last hitting 21-4.
Expect a potential kill when Lone Druid hits level 5. With that entangle, it could be a very, very easy kill.
Yeah.
If he gets lucky onto the Beastmaster.
Top
Some action coming on around up top.
Yep, Shadow Demon, he's gonna get caught out, and he will fall right there. That was, that was them setting up on the Coddle initially. They did not expect Rubik to be there though. How about that, porting in and completely catching them off guard. Meanwhile, middle lane. They also get another kill on the Shadow Fiend, and by they, I mean Van here on the Tinker. Another combo for the kill. He's now 0-2 to start. Not the start you like on Shadow Fiend, especially when you're trying to add up those souls here.
This is what I meant, that sometimes this team can get tilted, and maybe he was tilted by the fact like, oh my god, I can't believe he missed that first blood, and it's definitely not working out for him in the mid lane. Tinker did go for a laser rocket only build. He doesn't have any points in the March of the Machines, which only pays off if you're getting kills, and he is getting those kills, so it will pay off.
Yeah.
And look, you just see how much damage. I'm surprised he didn't. He's pumping out a couple auto attacks here, trying to butter him up just a little bit, so we can go for that finishing blow. And I think that raindrops is is a very, very important thing here for the Shadow Fiend, especially if he can know that this Tinker is not going for March Machines.
Sand King, he's in trouble. Burrow strike away, though. He's going to be put under after, so good patience with that ability. And now we got Luna running over, and there's the beam to finish him off. So that's the hero you definitely want that on, if at all possible. So finally, this combo kind of works out. I mean, that was a torrent without the disruption, to be fair. So well played by 2001 there. And now they're wrapping around the top lane onto Coddle. They may be able to catch him. I mean, this should be a kill. They're getting... Oh, never mind, they stopped. I thought they were just running in to go for the kill, but they actually decided to stop and... Not going to go for it. I guess they don't have as much vision as we do, so not as sure.
They just placed the ward, so they saw Sand King porting back in. Sand King stuns now aggressively, though. This could be a cue for them to go on to the Keeper of the Light. If they land this, it's going to be a very easy kill. Let's see if we can actually get it this time. It should be easy with the Soul Catcher on top and the beam from Luna.
But now Luna's trying to survive now in the meantime. One more auto attack on her will do the job, and there we go. Trash Talk King right there on the Rubik. Able to finish him off. Another Soul Catcher comes out, though. Auto attacks to follow. Trying to at least get the turn call on a Rubik, but at what cost for 2001? Yes, he's going to go down to the Sand King right there. So really a 2 for 2 overall. Meanwhile, back to the middle lane area, at least. Again, Shadow Fiend falls. Van able to pick him off. It looks like as maybe, yeah, he was actually pushing into the shrine area right there. Ends up dying. So not sure what that was about. Obviously watching the top action. That's just another death on Shadow Fiend now.
0-3, and this is what I was saying. I mean, oh, bottom lane. Lone Druid being ganked, the ult coming out from Luna. None of the beams actually hit the hero, but he is X'd up. He will die. Very, very unlucky, but still gets the kill quite easily.
Yeah. Enough damage there in the end to secure it, and that's obviously an important kill. You want to slow down that Lone Druid. You do look at the last hit and denies. 43-7 right now when it comes to his farm. Obviously, the net worth suggests that, yeah, he's second in the game, only behind his teammate Tinker, who has those 3 kills on a Shadow Fiend, as well as very good to farm himself in that middle lane. So at least slowing him down a little bit, but they're going to need much more of that. Now, level 6 on the Beastmaster, that's what he used to open with right there, as he's going to run over to the Shrine and make use of this. But focusing on Beastmaster real quickly, what do you expect him to get? Is it the Necro first? Does he need a Blink Dagger, you think, for that initiation purpose? What?
I wouldn't be surprised if he actually goes for Helm of the Dominator first. I know that Luna's probably going to get one, but this item is just, in my opinion, so overpowered and can easily warrant getting 2 or 3 for your team. He's a hero that benefits from it. You give even more attack speed to your units that you can control. So probably Helm of the Dominator into a Necro. Maybe Vlad's in between. Just tons of pushing up.
You think Helm of the Dominator, even with Luna getting it?
I could easily see. I easily see teams getting more than one nowadays. Yeah, but I mean, he could still go for the straight Necro. It's hard to tell with items he's buying right now because he's got the smorgasbord of items. Pull that thought. Dunker's got next onto the Rubik.
Ports are coming in though. Sand King has got a perfect lineup for the Burl Strike, but he doesn't use it in time. He gets the disruption put on him. Now he's going to have a chance though. But the slow happening from the board. He will finally get the stun off onto Beastmaster. However, not enough for the kill initially, but finally able to do him in. So it ends up being a 1-for-1. Man, I felt like Sand King could have really stunned a lot sooner right there. And maybe even got 2 of them. But somewhat delayed, and again, got put under, causing a little bit of an issue. However, they still get the turn kill.
This Tinker has 8-minute bots and almost a soul ring. This is really, really scary. And they took top tower in the meantime. Lone Druid wasn't there, so creating some space. The Sand King is extreme, even though, yeah, he could have maybe played that a little bit better. He is very, very close to his Blink Dagger. Very good start here for DileCom. We'll see how this SF kind of comes back into his farm. Like I said, he usually has a very shaky laning stage, but he's able to farm back quite nicely. That's just the nature of the hero of Shadow Fiend, but yeah, we'll see. He's got a long ways to go.
Bottom lane, Beastmaster. He needs to fall back. He's going to do that right now, but unfortunately, it's just a little bit too late. The lift comes out. This should be an easy kill. Illuminate on top of the Burl Strike, and actually Jabberwock on the Lone Druid, sure enough, gets the kill right there. So pretty much perfect execution coming out on the side of DileCom, and they now have the 8-5 lead here early on in this game. You mentioned Van with his start, the Soul Ring and the bots already finished, a Blink Dagger queued up, and going to be next in line. Luna making use of, that's not even Luna, never mind, that's Kunkka up here, making use of the pushed up lane meanwhile, as Luna's in the jungle currently. She just got her Helm of the Dominator, and there's a Satyr pickup with the use of it. So defend this bottom lane. I mean, Lone Druid makes it tough, but you think they need to?
Well, the bear's pretty low. I think they definitely should defend this, and they're gonna have 4 members here. They have the Luna ult. This tower will not be falling. Now, it does look like Beastmaster's, yeah, he is gonna go for a Vlad's. I was wondering if that was gonna be just a casual Bassi into a Helm of the Dominator, but it's just looking like a Vlad's rush. So that means they actually kind of want to press the issue early and have some kind of timing push. When they get the Vlads with the Helm of the Dominator and the Inner Beast on him, if they get lanes pushed out, they can Rosh very, very quickly.
Yeah. It's nice to, get those auras that do stack on top of each other and kind of help out for that massive push presence. So I feel like for doing objectives and the team fight, of course, it's a strong combo to have. Now, Super Benches here, he's going to have illusions created of him, and they're just going to use those to push out what they can, but of course, not too much as the March comes out. Level 3 now, and easily will push it back. So Infamous decided to fall back and going to regroup here, perhaps setting up for another smoke. Seems like they've been pretty aggressive with that so far. You see Shadow Fiend, I mean, he has power treads right now. That's not, okay, well, something's coming, actually. What is coming? Okay, Ring of Aquila at least also finished, but obviously not the start he hoped for, having those 3 deaths early on. But, you know, 4,200 net worth now. And Shadow Fiend is a hero that I feel like can recover with those raises, of course.
Oh, of course, he's the best at it. He's actually getting gone on right now. A bot's in onto the bear with the Tinker. 1 entangle, he's dead. They might not even need it. Laser comes out, he's rearming for another missile. It's only level 2 though, so he might be okay. He's got a 5-6 plus a bottle. Should be fine.
Never lucky, man.
Never lucky.
That entangle did not come
right
out.
there, man.
That sucks. I mean, it sucks for DileCom, that is, but obviously great news for Shadow Fiend.
Bias caster. I found him.
No, shut up. No, but Lone Druid, yeah, that's got to feel, that's got to, I guarantee you, whatever, you know, he's speaking in whatever language, I guess, Peruvian? What is it?
Spanish.
Spanish? There you go. He's speaking Spanish and saying, you know, he's pissed off how he didn't
They
get these
speak
singles.
Peruvian, we speak American.
I'm your typical American, what can I say?
Hey, it's okay. It's no better than what's her name from Alaska that said that?
Oh, Palin, yeah.
Oh, she's like, speak American.
Well, let's get away from politics quickly here, Tralf. Top lane, Shadow Demon. He's probably dead. Yeah, he's going to be lifted up, thrown backwards, and no chance for him. So, murderous Moffats here of Sand King and the Rubik are accomplishing a lot early on in this game, and now you have a level 6 Rubik here.
Yeah, the laning stage is just so beneficial to specifically Sand King. I think in like 7 minutes he had Tranquils and like 1,200 gold. Obviously has like very, very good timing. And just look at this lineup. Coddle, Sand King, March of the Machines, spam from possibly a Maelstrom with his increased attack range from the Lone Druid Bear. Speaking of the Bear, another bot's in from the Tinker, trying to look to do something. Blink stun coming out from Sand King.
Yes, the ship missed though initially, however it does get them the buff. Currently it is going to wear off there, though you see it. Shadow Fiend just melts away, in comes the Epicenter. Unfortunately a little bit too late, but hey, better to be safe than not and secure that kill yet again onto Sand King. But as you're mentioning, this push presence is absolutely ridiculous, and Infamous just doesn't seem like they have enough, at least early in this game, to withstand it. I mean, the shining star is Luna. She does have the Helm of the Dom, the Ring of Aquila, and the Dragonlance coming, but back to the middle lane, Kunkka dies as he's trying to somewhat defend it. And meanwhile, the Tinker going to be initiated on by the War right there. The lockdown coming out, but isn't enough follow-up. It looks like maybe the Purge going to be used by Shadow Demon, and the attacks from Luna to finally take him out. And that's got to feel good. They also get the Bear on top of that. Finally, some decent positive for Infamous there. How much gold is that now on Luna? Well, she must have bought something there, yeah. There we go, Dragonlance.
Boy, what a gold spike for that Luna. She just got a nice kill onto the Tinker, the kill streak, and the Bear, so like 700 gold within all that, so very, very good swing there for Infamous.
Yeah. By the way, guys, I apologize about the, for those that are trying to listen in-game with the echo. I do have to make a tweak after this game. I realize with my settings, unfortunately, I can't change it, though, until the next game starts. So, fortunately, I have to deal with it for this first game, but I am aware of it, and I'll do my best to get that fixed here for the. Actually, you know what, Tralf? Why don't you go ahead and just mute yourself in-game? Because apparently, I have it set up to where it's picking up your audio as well.
Oh, okay.
And coming up through my mic. So if you just mute yourself, then that should fix it.
Okay,
sure. That way. Anyways, okay. So the 11-6 lead right now for DileCom here. You do see Luna jumping ahead now on that network with chart. That's got to feel good. But you have Lone Druid with that Dragonlance, and obviously he has that level 10 talent now, the 200 attack range. And next in line is that good old 65 damage at level 15. So that's kind of the key mark. Middle lane, we're going to see initiation though, Shadow Demon. Can he put himself under? Yes, he can. He has always done it. Dude, initially, he finally gets a Soul Catcher off before dying as the ship comes out, though. That was Rubik's ship, actually. And it connects onto Kunkka to secure the kill onto him. Not the greatest defense there from Infamous.
Yeah, and earlier he stole the Torrent, too, and was using that in combination with the Sand King stun. So this is a team comp that you can't just like wait around behind a tower waiting for your team like, hey guys, maybe TP, let's defend this. You need to be ready with like all 5 heroes to defend that before they even get there, or else they're just going to pick you apart one by one. A nice ultimate coming from the Shadow Fiend, but just didn't do enough damage. I mean, he has 18 now, so I think he did have full souls. It just wasn't enough. That extra damage mitigation from null field, actually Holdon thought he doesn't have that filled up. It just didn't do any damage for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent amount at the beginning, but yeah, no follow-up to be had, and so Rubik survives, and obviously the rest of them, and They get the easy turn onto Shadow Fiend, but we're not done just yet. Bottom lane, they really want another kill on a Lone Druid, but easier said than done. In fact, Shadow Demon, look at that attack range, man. It's not going to be enough. Yes, it is. He does get the kill on a Shadow Demon. Oh, no. He puts himself under at the last second. That was well played right there with the timing. The Purge comes out. He does fall, but now Lone Druid's the one in trouble. The Eclipse from the flank. The Rocket's going to be used, but down goes Lone Druid. It's a great job by Shadow Demon right there, essentially baiting him out. They also lost Sand King off to the side, by the way, while that exchange was going on. So definitely working out for Infamous there. Really a 2-for-1 as far as what took place there.
And that could have been easily prevented by just not getting complacent and making sure he gets the kill. If he didn't run away when he thought he had the kill with the last auto attack in the air, he wouldn't have had to walk back, and then Shadow Demon baited so much time by using that disruption, and then he attacked the wrong illusion first, and then that all concluded to his demise. So just a little bit of careless play there coming out from the Lone Druid.
Yeah. And now Shadow Fiend obviously opening up a little bit more room for him now to ideally get bigger and better farm. Again, 0-5-0. That is not a stat line you want to see on any hero, let alone a hero like Shadow Fiend. But going to what we said earlier, you talk about recovery. He's up there, arguably the best at doing so. So the Shadow Blade has been finished, actually. So gonna go that route. Well, now, would you? By the way, real quickly, would you like to see him go more of that initiation build, the ulti build, because they have a Luna with like the damage presence, or?
Well, I think no matter what, for any of these heroes in Infamous, you have to recognize that you are not going to end this game early. Like, even though you have the Vlads, you have the Shadow Demon, Luna combination, everything, you can push early. You can't. This team is impossible to push early against with Coddle Blast, Sand King Ultimate, Tinker March. Like I said, with the long range Maelstrom spams, which yeah, he is getting. You are not pushing into this team. So when you recognize that fact, your build needs to reflect that.
Yeah.
So whatever build he goes for, that's going to make sure that he has enough auto attack damage and able to fight in the late game is going to be the proper build. I don't see anything wrong with the Lothars into Silver Edge later. He's going to go for a BKB right after that. I can see through his quick buy. And BKB is pretty necessary against, the Coddle. You don't think about it too much, but Blinding Light's extremely annoying for a hero like Shadow Fiend. Hold that thought. Shadow Fiend's going to dawn on.
Yeah, they're trying to turn this, though. Fear comes out. You do see the Invis Shadow Fiend, though. He's ready to open up with the Requiem. They do pick off the Shadow Demon, but here comes the Requiem. Is it going to be enough damage? No, it's not. Tinker gets away. He actually didn't use it in the end. Instead, he throws a Raise out and gets the kill onto the Sand King right there. There was that Blinding Light used, as you just mentioned, to push him back initially, but he gets the double kill, actually, as they do catch Lone Druid kind of trapped right there. And they're going to keep chasing. Tinker from a range is launching those rockets, has the March out. That was a great turn and a double kill for Shadow Fiend.
Shadow Fiend killed the bear, and I didn't see where the actual hero was, but the killing the bear killed the hero because it does the damage to him. I was trying to look and see where the hero was. Maybe he just TP'd in base and didn't micro his bear or something, but very, very lucky turnaround there for the Shadow Fiend. Unlucky, however, for the Luna, even though it doesn't matter because it's a 2-0, but she ulted, but she was mana leaked, and so she just stood there and got stunned and didn't hit anybody with the ult.
Oops.
But I digress. It didn't matter. Great little turnaround there for specifically the Shadow Fiend. And this lead that DileCom had is slowly kind of dwindling away with 2 back-to-back deaths now on this Lone Druid.
You look at the net worth chart, it's obviously bumped in favor of Infamous now, over 1,000 lead for them. Not the most, but again, the fact that it's kind of in their favor now is what really matters. Nearly a 5,000 experience lead on top of that. So Infamous, and you got that dangerous Luna Shadow Demon combination with, of course, the Illusion Creation. She already has a Yasha finish. She has a Butterfly being clicked right here. As far as queued up next, that have to go with the Dragonlance, of course, and there's the Manta Style actually just being delivered. So already with that alone, very powerful creating the illusions offer, especially when she gets the Butterfly. We all know what that can really do. And there's that BKB literally just about finished now in Shadow Fiend too. So you talked about that, how useful that's going to be, no doubt. I mean, this is a guy that had an 0-5-0 start, and he almost has a BKB Shadow Blade in 20 minutes. That's really not too bad.
Just like clockwork, like I said, he struggles in lane. Honestly, just no other way to put it. He just kind of feeds in lane, but he seems to find his farm and his footing outside of the laning stage, and that seems to be the case here this game. Obviously, he was given sort of a freebie up there just in that last engagement, but you'll take what you can get, and he grabs an Invis rune right now, and yeah, full BKB coming out for him. This is a good timing to maybe look for a Roshan, for some kind of fight, and yeah, this is definitely a good power spike here for Infamous. Now, if you're DileCom and you're kind of recognizing this, I would say you need to ward around Roshan. I see a boat X onto a bear. They are going to get a free bear. That's 300 gold. And honestly, that bear now with this skill build and this talent tree for Lone Druid gets neglected quite a bit, which is fine, except for the fact that you can feed off a lot of gold if you're too careful.
Yeah, you got to be careful not to just feed it at them exactly. It's kind of the idea of something like a Venomancer, you know, kind of, especially earlier in the game, you just feed them their wards, thinking like, I'm harassing them. It's like, well, you're also giving them that bounty throughout, so you got to be a little careful.
Right.
Once you overuse it. Rubik, he's looking to get some vision down. Rubik already with the Blink Dagger, by the way. Currently has Call the Wild Boar stolen. Going to use one of those boars himself to scout things out. Oh, but yeah, bottom lane, like a Shadow Fiend. Setting up in the flank position right here. That's actually an Invis rune. That's not even a Shadow Blade.
Right.
Not going to find anyone, though.
Just missed the Sand King, unfortunately, for him.
Yeah. Well, they'll push the bottom instead, which is just fine. Obviously, when it comes to fighting as a team, they got the Vlads, they got the Helm of the Dominator, just overall the team makeup. Great for doing this. Here comes the Illusions, and the Alpha Wolf, of course, nearby as well, to assist with even more damage. So we'll see how the siege works at the base, or the tower more so. Tinker?
Okay. Tinker's coming, and he actually thought better of it because he thought maybe the glaives would hit him before he shift clicks his blink. He's going to try again. And, again, doesn't want to. He doesn't want to take that risk of not being able to shift click the blink with things like glaives or whatever other spells being able to automatically stop him. Yeah. I mean, if he TP's right there and just gets his blink canceled, he's dead immediately. Maybe someone else dies trying to save him. Becomes a chain effect, and before you know it, your racks are dead when you were winning this game 5 minutes ago. So gotta be careful with plays like that. And I see a ping out coming from Roche, top lane. Vengeance, he's gonna just try to push that out a little bit, get better positioning to take that easy Roche. But yeah, they're gonna surgically take this map now, and once they get this Roche on, they could actually potentially pull off a high ground push. They are able to pick off like the team.
Yeah, here goes that Roshan. Double damage on Shadow Fiend. We'll try to do it fairly quickly right here. You do see DileCom in the area somewhat, but they don't got the actual vision. It's going to be an easy Roshan kill in the end. And of course, that's Luna picking it up here with the Aegis. So Shadow Fiend scouting out more with that Shadow Blade and the double damage rune still activated. But don't think he's going to find anyone. They did a good job of falling back from here.
Could have even just backdoored that tower if he saw how low HP it was. There's a ward that was placed here. They are smoked, and they are going to get, I think, the easy pick off onto the Kunkka. Taking a long time to stun. There is a mech actually onto the Kunkka, so he will be fine. Mech plus the cloak, lots of damage mitigation. And maybe Tinker can get a kill.
Nope.
A couple of missile. Boat rum coming out, and I think he's going to be fine, though.
He actually is. And the roar hits Tinker, actually. They're going for the turn kill. Meanwhile, in another situation, you see Shadow Fiend picking off the Sand King, and he's going for Rubik as well. The Torrent's going to connect, and Tinker is most likely going to fall right here. The evasion's coming out with the Ray, but it's not going to be enough, actually. And they finally do get the kill on him. You see Rubik, he does make his way out of there, actually, with the Blink Dagger, but another situation where Infamous comes out with a couple more kills, despite what seemed like DileCom getting the jump right there.
Radiant's top tower
and I do got to say that Kunkka really redeemed himself right there after what happened at the beginning of the game, because not only was he the one being gone on right there by not only the Sand King ult and the Rubik stuns and spells and whatever, and Tinker missiles, he actually TP'd back up to the top tower with like 1 HP to get the X to cancel Tinker's TP away. So it was a great play coming out from, I think that's Tinker.
Yeah, very, very smart play indeed. And now you see the top secondary tower also going down in favor of Infamous. So it really feels like they're in total control of this game right now. Again, the net worth really a good example of that as they jump upwards of even 6,000 lead, 10,000 experience lead working out for them as well. You talk about that that butterfly just around the corner now for the Luna right here. Shadow Fiend, he's actually going to be working on a Lincoln's here. Lincolns make a lot of sense to you. As middle lane real quickly, Keeper of the Light, he's going to be caught by the boat. Actually, they catch Rubik in the background as well. And Taitsuki wants to get the kill on a Rubik, but he gets lifted in the air and thrown backwards. You see Lone Druid from a distance. The rays coming out, the axe bouncing effect. You got Sand King now jumping on a Kunkka. As Shadow Fiend did get the kill on a Tinker in the background, though. So it's a 1-for-1 right now, definitely favoring Infamous. Eclipse was used right there as well by Luna. And up here we have Beastmaster going at it with the Sand King. He used the ward to lock him down, and now the chase is on. Soul Catcher applied. He gets the Blink Dagger off, though. And should be fine, yeah. He's good. Meanwhile, way over here, look at that Lone Druid, a Requiem of Souls. Catches him.
Oh, boy.
Infamous just in total control.
Yeah, and if there's any hero you want to be 0-5 and 0 on and be like, all right, well, this is okay, I can come back. It's Shadow Fiend.
Yeah.
This hero just comes back so quickly, farms faster than almost any hero,
Radiant's middle
without
tower
like,
has
I need
fallen.
this item, I need that item. He just has it innately in his abilities and his skills. Whereas, you know, some heroes might, like, I need my Helm of the Dominate, or I need my Midas, or I need my Manta, whatever. Nope, Shadow Fiend needs
middle
nothing.
tower
He just
is
needs his
under
raises,
attack.
which he already has.
Yeah. Land your
Come back
raises.
already 50,000 net worth, 2,000 above that of the Tinker, who was like 4 kills on him in 7 minutes or something like that. Now here is the high ground spam, but there was some significant damage done to that tier 3, and that's really all that they wanted.
I'm trying to think here, like, where did this exactly go wrong for DileCom? Because they had the early, like, they were pushing towers. Lone Drew was getting farmed. You mentioned Tinker right there. Is this just Infamous finally came together with the items and started winning fights? Is that really all there is to it?
It was a couple of things. First, it was that top fight where they had a 2-0 exchange in favor of the Shadow Fiend. He killed the bear and the hero at the same time, which is, like, anytime you get a kill with the bear, it's a huge spike in gold. Luna had that once in the middle lane, because you get the kill plus 300 gold, so it's like 700 gold depending on what their net worths are.
Yeah.
And he got a double kill, so that was like 1,000 gold, maybe more for Shadow Fiend. Also, that kill bottom when Lone Drew thought he had an easy kill onto the Shadow Demon and ended up being a turn kill on him. Both of those things kind of just, I don't know, sort of added up in favor of Infamous, and this is like a very, very good power spike for their draft specifically. They do have, like I said, amazing D-push on the side of DileCom, but if you're getting caught out before the push begins, oh, BKB triggered, as he did run into a sentry or some kind of jam or something, and he was spotted out.
Yeah, better to be safe than sorry there. They were looking like they might have been trying to jump him actually, so pops a BKB, obviously threatens them to run back, and he's going to be fine in the end, but yeah, they know that's on cooldown at least for another minute, so we'll see if they can maybe take advantage of that. But if you're Infamous, perhaps not look to really push just yet until that BKB is back up. Wouldn't be surprised if that's their strategy here. I mean, Aegis is still on Luna. Okay, literally as I say that, it gets reclaimed actually, so they don't necessarily get into the base. You talked about the counter push, though. That's probably a good reason as to why. Middle lane. Okay, they were looking like maybe go for a jump there, but again, just not really comfortable enough. And thus they will fall back.
Yeah.
Beastmaster with the pipe and the gem also on top of that, so.
Oh, bottom lane, if they can maybe get some kind of TP in here. He does have Savage Roar plus TP. He's going to TP out. He doesn't sense anyone coming to him. So I think if you're Infamous, as long as you don't get baited by a we have to push sort of mentality, they're going to be fine. They're going to easily outfarm all of the members, all the cores of DileCom. The only way they lose is just like 5-man push versus 5-man defense, because the defense is pretty nice from DileCom. They have to get some kind of pick off or something,
Yeah.
or you know, farm all 3 lanes at once, and you can see that the net worth is just rising exponentially here for them.
Yeah, pushing out the middle. You got bottom lane being pushed up by Luna, and Shadow Fiend making his way to the top lane, actually. Double damage rune on him yet again. I feel like we've seen many of those this game. Into the Shadow Fiend. Yeah, he went from 0-5-0 to 5-0-0 now since then, so quite the turnaround for Shadow Fiend. The Spirit Bear, it may fall right here. Purge comes out. But, oh yeah, X marks the spot. Even the shift, God, they really want to get that bear, and you know what? They get it, damn it. So.
See, I feel like I see this all the time for Druids now, is their mentality is, well, I'm not using my bear, I don't care. But it just gives off a lot of gold. You know, before it's like, oh god, if my bear died, I'm useless for, whatever, 90 seconds, because all my items were on my bear. And that's one of the drawbacks of going that build. You have to protect your bear a little bit better. But now it's just kind of like an afterthought. It's like, whatever, we'll just let him die. Oh, there is an ulti come out from Sand King. They do have a sentry down. Lincoln's triggered. Maybe you can pop this BKB plus an ultimate. This could be some good damage from Nesha.
Oh my god, he gets the 1 turn kill. Can he get the turn kill on the Sand King as well? He needs to deactivate that blink dagger. He can't do in time. But the fact he lived and at least got the 1 turn kill while his team is pushing bottom, that's the opening they needed, because that was 3 heroes up there that were trying to kill the Shadow Fiend. They couldn't, and then Luna does her thing with the illusions of Shadow Demon. And look at that, the set of racks go down. Talk about the momentum there for Infamous across the board. That just has to be the ultimate tilt for DileCom, which has happened right there too. They got the perfect jump. I mean, that was the ideal example of what they wanted, and they still couldn't do it, unfortunately.
Just not enough damage. Rubik doesn't do any damage, and Sand King, he does damage, but it's usually better in an AoE, so it's spread out a bit more. Nice glimmer up onto the Shadow Fiend. They want to turn this onto him. He does have, no, he doesn't have lifesteal. He's just going to try to man mode onto him. He might die, but the rum saves him.
Oh my god. Oh, look at this guy.
Oh god, if he hits him in the Maelstrom procs, oh my god.
That would have been hilarious. They also get Sandking in the back row with a roar, by the way, and he too will die. They were just trying to dive that Shadow Fiend. They're just, again, you can tell they're a little frustrated, I'm sure, that they just simply can't kill him, it feels like. But again, he gets away. And I don't know. I mean, I know it's 17 to 17 hero kills, but Infamous has a pretty ridiculous lead now at this point. I don't know if they can come back from it, so.
Well, this just goes to show you the mid lane doesn't really, I mean, being able to dominate mid doesn't really matter as much anymore. Obviously, there's so many different factors, but this is a case in point. I mean, he got obliterated mid. Absolutely obliterated mid. Wasn't really, I don't even think it was yanked the first time. Maybe he was, I don't, I'm sure. But yeah, it doesn't matter. They have the better team comp, and they are moving better as a team, taking smarter fights, just doing it all. And of course, they have the Shadow Demon.
Hey, you got to figure, I mean, that tends to be the case with a team that's been together a lot longer, and you got a team like DileCom that, you know, they've been using a lot of stand-ins over time, obviously even most recently, using even 2 new players here in this tournament, so not saying that's the sole reason why they're losing here, but you definitely got to figure that plays a factor. Synergy's always that thing of playing with new players constantly can kind of throw things off guard. So, but Infamous, the better team, at least so far in game number 1. It's not over just yet, but something tells me the GGs are just around the corner. Here go the BKBs, and this should all but do it for game number 1. The Glaives are just bouncing throughout the whole base. They catch Lone Truth in the background with the roar. Lone Truth just simply could not come online, really. The Torrent's going to miss, actually. It's a couple of heroes, not Lone Truth, but now there's the Mega Creeps, and I think DileCom just delaying the inevitable. What is a game 1 victory here? Shadow Fiend barely stays alive again, by the way.
And Lone Druid drops his Mjolnir, which now in the post game is going to be like, dude, that Lone Druid was so underfarmed.
Mess up the stats.
Which, to be fair, even with the Mjolnir he was, but now he's like really underfarmed.
Are they really not GG? Come on now. Well, okay, there we go. There we go. It is actually official. I'm going to say it's like, all right, come on, guys. I think it's over. And they finally agree. So, DileCom, Posse, even. Oh, boy. Infamous, excuse me, going to take game number 1 over DileCom again. You look at the hero kill stats, a quick glance at that, and it's like, oh, this was a pretty even game. No, there's a lot more to games than just simply hero kills. And a great example is right here where they just simply got in control and just did not look back from there. Luna especially just came on the line. Shadow Fiend started 0-5-0 and finished 10-0-0 after the fact. So, and hey, Lone Druid, no victory here at least in game number 2. So I'm not sure what the issue is. Apparently,
they're playing on.
Okay,
they're just
and now he DC.
Some Peru Doto.
Let's say GG and then keep leaving and DCing. I don't know. This game is bound to end though. So,
God.
That's when you know things are great, right? When you're getting called up by your own player. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, anyways, the game is over. It looks like, as the admin just even told him to leave. But gonna finish the old-fashioned way, so we'll just keep it to the very end here. I don't know, though. I mean, looking at it from the perspective, though, simply the draft, though, I mean, is there something you see for DileCom here that maybe, like, do they take out the Luna next game? Do they maybe react in that way, or is there really more to it than just that?
To be honest, I thought the draft was pretty awesome from DileCom. Like, I thought it could have worked really well. I mean, everything worked out well, right? They won 3 lanes. They won top, basically. I mean, Sandking was super farmed. They heavily won mid. It was a disaster, and they won bottom. They won 3 lanes and still lost the game. And they had so they won 3 lanes, still had amazing D push. Like, there's some kind of something wrong with their draft if you win. I don't think necessarily that's the case. I think they just made mistakes as a team and they still had, I think, had a great draft. But that's not to say the Infamous draft was bad. I still think they also had a great draft. I think drafts are somewhat even, but Infamous just were able to capitalize on some big personal mistakes from some of the members of DileCom, and were able to run away with it.
It is actually over. We got Infamous with the victory, and deservingly so. But ladies and gentlemen, that's game 1 of a 2-game series, so we'll see what happens here in game number 2 set to come up. But ladies and gentlemen, going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Hopefully a quick start here, though, to game number 2. As again, we're a little bit delayed with getting that first game started. So once again, though, I'm Breaky CBK, joined by Trelf here. You're tuning into the Star Ladder I-League Star Series American qualifying action. We're continuing on with our 4th day here, our first series of 3 to come. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.
It's alright, shake off the cold and